Dark Star Frequency, signature series. Title of the series, The Mirror of the Serpent, a 30-part descent into the abyss of narcissism. Episode 4, The Length, How Narcissism Spreads Through the Body of Humanity. Narrated by Samson, powered by the Dark Star Frequency. The wound was never just personal. It was always systemic. Evil does not stand alone. It multiplies through the vessels of the unaware. Samson. I once believed the enemy was a face, but the deeper I traveled, I saw it is a bloodstream, a hive, a silent infection that dances behind polite smiles and family dinners. I am Samson, and I see the sickness. Narcissism is not just a person. It is a system, a network, a bloodstream. In this fourth descent, we look at the length, not the literal fluid in the body, but the symbolic extension through which narcissistic behavior, beliefs, and control flow invisibly through families, cultures, organizations, and civilizations. You have felt it before. The unspoken rules, the inherited shame, the praise that demands your silence. That's the length. That's how the serpent survives. The serpent doesn't walk, it circulates. Narcissism is rarely contained to a single individual. It leaks, it infects, it travels through social bonds like a parasite wearing a crown. Families become vessels. Religious institutions become sanctuaries of denial. Corporate structures reward the mask. Governments exalt the narcissistic archetype as visionary. The narcissist is not always the leader. Sometimes they are the enabler. Sometimes they are the cultural expectation. Sometimes they are you. When you are too afraid to speak, the devil doesn't need your worship, just your silence. Second generation infection. Look at family lines. Trauma unspoken becomes behavior unchallenged. A narcissistic father becomes a compliant son. A compliant son becomes a passive father. A passive father births a child desperate for love, easily conquered by praise. And so the serpent is passed on not by venom, but by mimicry. Biblically, we see this with King Saul, who began humble, then became consumed with jealousy, control, and the obsession to be seen. His obsession infected his lineage. Jonathan, his son, lived torn between devotion and truth. Historically, entire lineages, from royal bloodlines to cults, have passed narcissistic infection like inheritance. Narcissism travels best in the blood. Third, the length of the workplace. You've seen it. The workplace where mediocrity rises because truth is punished, where charm outweighs competence, where flattery is currency. The narcissist in leadership creates a hierarchy of fear and performance. The enablers surround them like loyal messengers, filtering reality, punishing dissent, rewarding blindness. They may say, we are a family here, but it feels more like a throne room or a hostage negotiation. 4, culture as a narcissist. Even nations can carry narcissistic traits. Grandiosity. We are the greatest. Exploitation. They exist to serve us. Denial of flaws. We've done nothing wrong. Image obsession. As long as it looks good. This cultural narcissism seeps into how people date, worship, lead, and even raise children. The length is vast. And when someone awakens, when someone speaks out, they are often labeled angry, ungrateful, rebellious, or dangerous. That is how the body attacks its own antibodies. The narcissism in relationships, they mirror bond. In a narcissistic system, even love becomes infected. It is no longer a bond of freedom, but a mirror bond. You exist to reflect the other person's ideal image. You must always agree. You must always be grateful. You must never surpass them. You must always be who they need you to be. This is not love. It's symbiotic codependency. And worse, it feels normal. If you have to shrink to keep someone's love, it is not love. It is control in disguise. 6, how to break the flow. You do not fight narcissistic systems by arguing with their kings. You break the length by purifying yourself, by speaking what was forbidden, by mourning what was ignored, by living what was labeled sacred but felt like rot. The line must be broken. This may mean losing relationships. It may mean walking away from a job. It may mean refusing to play the role. You were not born to carry the sickness. You are the antibody. You are not the infection. You are the fever, and fevers burn for a reason. Narrator's final words is Samson. This is Samson. I have walked through temples built of guilt. I have eaten bread soaked in manipulation. I have been the limb of the system, and I have burned. Now I am clean, and I am watching. Let them call you too much. Let them say you've changed. Let them say you've turned your back. You are not turning your back. You are walking out of the bloodstream. In episode 5, we'll enter the mirror itself. We'll examine the child raised by narcissists and how the wound becomes the voice. Prepare. The length leads to the heart. Subscribe, share, awaken. This is not just recovery. This is revelation. This is the dark star frequency.